There was a TV series recently about a doctor with very low social skills, so low that most people in the hospital hated working with him. However, he was a brilliant diagnostician. Each week, the show's plot was basically the same. Someone shows up in the emergency room dying from some unknown cause, and no one can figure it out. Reluctantly, the ER calls upon the unsociable doctor to diagnose and treat the patient. Here's the kicker. If he misdiagnoses and begins the wrong treatment, the patient dies faster. At his disposal are the usual array of diagnostic tools such as blood tests, MRI, X-ray, and CT scans. The rest of the show is about how he finally discovers the cause of the trauma and saves the day. Well, the same thing happens in organizations. A leader sees that there's a problem. It might manifest as low sales, poor morale, decreased market share, or customer attrition. Her job is to diagnose the cause and treat it, thus returning the organization to good health. However, if she misdiagnoses, it could make the organization even sicker. Someday that scenario will be about you. Two important questions should come to mind. What diagnostic tools are available to help you diagnose the organization, and how will you avoid misdiagnosing? In their book, Reframing Organizations, Bowman and Deal suggest that you need to view the organization from 4 different perspectives to really understand what's going on. They call these 4 frames, and you can think of them as 4 diagnostic tools. Just as a doctor has tools to aid diagnosis, so do you. And just as doctors must learn to interpret test results, you must learn to use each frame. So here's an idea. Spend the next week examining your organization in terms of its structure. The following week, see what you can learn about your organization by looking at it through the HR frame. In week 3, use the political frame, and use the 4th week to see what you can learn about your organization in terms of its symbols. Each week, you'll use a different frame to diagnose what's really going on in your organization, just as a doctor runs multiple tests on the same patient. Only after using all the frames will you truly understand what ails the organization. But how will you keep from misdiagnosing? Bowman and Deal offer many reasons why leaders commonly misdiagnose organizations. You've probably seen some of these where you work. But there's another cause for misdiagnosis: blind spots. It seems that we all naturally prefer one of the 4 frames over the others. The implication is that when you see an organizational problem, you tend to use your preferred frame for diagnosis and treatment. It happens automatically without us even thinking about it. The flip side is that you'll naturally exclude input from the other frames. The question you'll want to answer is, how will you keep those naturally occurring blind spots from causing you to misdiagnose? As you observe organizational behavior around you, you may be tempted to start prescribing treatment. It's common for beginning practitioners in the field to jump to a conclusion, but remember, if you misdiagnose, you can cause more harm than good. We like to say that prescription without diagnosis is malpractice. The diagnosis is everything. Once you correctly diagnose the cause of the problem, the prescription becomes almost obvious.